What's good, guys? And welcome to another episode of Really Football Logic. It's Zeno here, and in today's episode, we're going to be talking about the North London derby, Arsenal Tottenham Hotspur. It ended 2-2 on as even. Now, traditionally in these games, especially the games at the Emirates, Arsenal are pretty much inevitable. We know that, right? Arsenal, they've won 2-1, they won 3-1, I think, the last two times they played against Spurs at the stadium. So, you know, we've become very used under the recent management up until this season of Tottenham going to the Emirates and being very reactive and not very proactive, and playing really defensive, unattractive football to try and stymie Arsenal, try to stop them, and it never works. It never works. Conte, Mourinho, and anyone in between that I'm forgetting, Nuno. Yeah, look, these three managers, they came to the Emirates with a defensive approach and they got battered. This time, today, oh boy, Postecoglou. This match makes you really realize the impact he's had on the club and how they play games and how they approach every single football match. Because as we know, even though they did play against Man United earlier in the season, as we know, they didn't put too much of a fight. Dookie can tell you that. You can literally see the reaction if you haven't seen it already. But literally, this was the biggest test under Postecoglou's leadership since he became manager. And the reality is he came through it with flying colours. This was a very, very strong performance by Tottenham Hotspur, and it was a low-key statement. The only thing that was missing was a victory. Tottenham came into the game and they looked so comfortable on the ball and they were comfortable passing it around the back. Maybe they were doing it a bit too much. Maybe they should have had a bit more, forward force with the passing. And I mean, Madison went off, it was even worse. But it's very strong, encouraging signs. Arsenal might feel aggrieved because they had the lead twice in the game and they let it go. But one was a deflected strike and one was a penalty. So, like, we can be honest here. Arsenal were fortunate to get their goals, because the Romero handball was a bit dodgy because where else do you think he will put his hands at? We've been told that if your arm is in a natural position and it hits your arm, it might not be a penalty. But clearly it doesn't matter, As long as if it clearly hits his arm, then what can you do? It's a very tough decision, and I guess it made sense it was given, but the rules just make it difficult to understand what is going on with the handball rule, man. It just makes it difficult. Like the amount of changes they made to it and the way they try to make it objective, it just made it a bit too objective, I think. It needs to be clearer. But anyways, I think, Arsenal did play well in spells. They had their moments of, control and dominance. And of course, they had a couple of big chances that missed, aka the biggest one being the Jesus chance where he completely robbed Madison blind when, like I was saying before, Tottenham were passing the ball a bit too casually around the back and he blazed over the bar because that's what Jesus does. He doesn't score big chances, often and clinically. Nonetheless, Son on the other hand, 2 chances, 2 goals. So, literally the first goal was brilliantly well worked. Madison managed to beat Madison managed to beat Saka down the line, and then he managed to find Son. Clinical finish in between the three defenders, off the post and in. It's crazy. Obviously, the first goal with Arsenal, Saka cut inside, and it was a terrible shot, but it came off Romero. He stuck a leg out kind of like lazily, and he paid the price for it. He should be a lot more aggressive with that ball, or let it go, or just make a better decision than what he did. But it was really unfortunate. And then obviously when the second half started, the first half overall was like Tottenham were comfortable, but Arsenal probably had the better play, the better of the play, and seemed to be in a bit more control. But in the second half, it completely flipped. Tottenham were the team in their ascendancy, but then obviously the penalty happened and Saka put it away. And then, well, straight after that, literally about a minute afterwards, if maybe less than that, next thing you see Jorginho getting robbed blind, yeah, by Madison. And unlike Jesus with his chance, for Tottenham, what really happened here was that, Madison and Son showed them how it was done. Madison got the ball, kept his composure, timed the pass perfectly to Son, and he timed his finish excellently underneath David Raya, who made an excellent save from Brennan Johnson in the first half, by the way. It was a crazy save, but I think the shot should have been a bit more in the corner. Nonetheless, anyways, literally, I think, in the second half, Tottenham were in a lot more comfortable. Again, they were still playing that from the back. They were still playing that confident position football that Postecoglou's trying to coach within them. Obviously, some players weren't, like Basuma, for example. I think he's been so good this season. So good. And maybe he was due a bad game. Today, he wasn't as effective. He did have his moments, though, but it wasn't as effective. I felt like Sarr was more in the game. And even Saw himself, he showed confidence, but at moments showed moments of, lack of concentration in slight moments and poor execution with his passing sometimes. Overall, I think it was a really clean, strong, energetic performance from Saw, and he's been really good this season as well, alongside Basuma. Almost you could say a perfect partner for him. And on the other hand, with Arsenal, they were quite unfortunate with their midfield situation because, as you can see, Declan Rice got subbed off, and he had. I think turns out he had an injury. Obviously, they had to play Jorginho, and Jorginho playing, it didn't really work out. It didn't really make much sense because I feel like having Declan there was making more of a stronger difference. He's a better player, obviously. Having Jorginho there and then him having making a mistake, it's frustrating. And Arsenal fans are pointing towards that being the cause of defeat, as well as selected other injuries. Because I can't lie, I was watching the game and I was seeing him get subbed off, and I was like, not surprised. He hasn't had much impact on the game. But as it proven to be, turns out he was carrying a calf injury or something like that. He wasn't 100%. And obviously, then Maddison had the worrying situation with his knee completely buckling. And then Brennan Johnson pulled his calf. So a lot of, injury events actually during the game. But all in all, the game was a more positive one for Tottenham because it shows the evolution and development of the Postecoglou to come to the Emirates and play that kind of confident football compared to Arsenal, who obviously they have different ambitions to what they did when Arteta first became manager. They're probably the second best team in the league. I don't know if you can call that anymore because obviously Liverpool exists now and they've been in great form as well throughout the season so far. But they're one of the best teams in this league and they expect to beat Tottenham, and that's just how it is. Arteta even said how disappointed he was. Postecoglou, on the other hand, is talking about how happy he was with the players coming out there and being confident to play that style of football and being able to do a pretty decent job of actually being able to do so at times. And that's mainly because of the likes of Maddison, Basuma, Van der Ven was very strong. Udogi, even though he got yellow carded, he was very good as well. I was very impressed with him. Easy to forget he's still only 20. Easy to forget that Van der Ven is still like 2021, I think, as well. And then obviously, or 22, I think. Anyways, and obviously Porro at right back. Man, I'll be honest, I didn't think he'd be this good. A lot of people already wrote him off when Postecoglou became manager, saying that he's a wing back, he can't defend. How is he going to play inverted? But he's proven everyone wrong. He can do this role and he can do it he can do it simply with ease. I was going to say comfortability, but I don't know if that's a word. I think it is. With comfortability and with ease. He looks at home there. Absolutely superb performance. I love Porro now. I always remember what he said once when he was coming for criticism, and he said literally, "Oh, if you put me in the prison, I'll run the place." It gives you a taste of his mentality and his attitude. He really wanted to prove people wrong, and that's exactly what he's done. On the other hand, Romero, even though he was unfortunate, 2 goals technically can be attributed to him. He was solid as well. Vicario was very good. I'll never forget the opening game of the season where a lot of fans were doubting him, but it looks like he's proven them wrong. He made some really class saves and he was comfortable on the ball as well during the game. He was comfortable on the ball. At moments there was bits of hesitation there, but he managed to, control himself pretty well. And then obviously, Basuma, like I said, a bit underwhelming, probably his worst performance of the season, which shows you how good he's been up until this point. He was still influential at points during the match. Saw the same, obviously, like I said already, worrying in terms of his execution and his composure at times, but and his concentration as well. But overall, a very strong, energetic performance. The intentions were good. And then obviously James Maddison, he was playing very deep at times today, and I think that's what attributed to Tottenham's slow build up during the first half, and kind of the second half, but more so in the first half. But even so, he played that role really well. It's just that no one else was there to help him link the creativity. Kulusevski played a huge role in that. So moving on to Kulusevski, I felt like he was influential as well. Holding his width and coming inside, and being really clean with the ball and holding up the ball well. And then on the other side, Brennan Johnson, his debut start, his first start for Tottenham, he had a chance to score, scuffed the shot a bit, had these small openings and chances. I noticed he was struggling to control the ball at times today, but I think it's just one of those games where the ball wasn't bouncing his way and all that kind of stuff. And you can tell that, obviously Postecoglou, it's been said that he wanted him to, stay, not track back, but he ended up having to track back and it got Udogi confused for the first goal. And you can tell it's going to take him some time to, fully bed in. But there's good signs there. He's definitely going to be a important piece of Postecoglou's revolution. And then, as for up front, Hong Son Heung-min, well, as a striker, your job's to score goals. And he worked hard. Heung-min-son always puts in a shift. That's why he's our captain. That's why he's the leader of Tottenham. That's why he's the new guy to lead, Postecoglou's revolution. Two brilliant goals, well taken goals, one on each foot. What more can you ask for? As for Arsenal, David Raya, he was solid. We saw the clips of Ramsdale clapping and trying to, gas it up and being proud of Raya, but we all know deep inside he is burning. He's not getting that role back. Raya started the last 2-3 games. It's done. Done deal. GG. All right? That's it. And then obviously, on the other hand, you have the two centre backs. Saliba was superb, but we know he's top class. One of the best centre backs in the league, probably. Gabriel was decent as well. He was strong as well. Covering for Zinchenko really well, to be fair, because Zinchenko, as you know, plays an inverted role. Zinchenko was all right. The right back, Ben White, he was good too. Again, he was all right. And then obviously in the midfield, like I said, Declan Rice wasn't too influential, similar to Basuma, but obviously Jorginho replacing him, it was a clear downgrade in quality, and Arsenal got considerably worse in the second half. And Jorginho made the mistake as well. But yeah, and then obviously Havertz came on as well, but at first it was Fabio Vieira who did alright. Odegaard, I can't lie, he was silent, boy. I barely saw Odegaard the game, man. I can't lie, Madison showed him levels. I can't even lie, man. I'm not even being biased. That's what happened. Alright, you got to take it. You got to firm that Arsenal fans. Anyways, and then obviously Jesus playing on the left wing, as it turned out. People thought it was going to be Nketiah playing on the left, but it was obviously Jesus. Jesus, it's a Jesus performance. He worked hard, missed a big chance, all that kind of stuff. You know his game. And yeah, like Nketiah, again, I don't know why he started, but obviously Tata had these ideas and his plan, and his vision, and he tried, he worked hard. I didn't like the tackle he did on Vicario though, not cool. And obviously, Saka's the big difference maker for Arsenal. I think that's the reality. Obviously, with Martinelli out, he is the big difference maker. Odegaard's there too, but in this match, Saka made an impact, man. He kept Udogie thinking, innit? For the first goal, Udogie lost him, innit? Shouldn't have lost him, but Saka bamboozled him. Saka's a world class player, man. Let's be honest, world class youngster. He's an incredible football player. That's no doubt about that. But Højbjerg came on for Spurs. Yeah, Højbjerg. You can see why Postecoglou doesn't feel like he fits in the system. He's just going to make the right decision sometimes with the ball. But again, he offered experience and a more calm presence on the pitch to help Tottenham see out the game. So at least there's that. Richarlison came on trying to make an impact. I can't say much about these later subs, innit? He came on, he trying to make an impact. Solomon came on, he trying to make an impact. Them ones there, innit? So yeah, obviously I'm probably forgetting a couple of players, innit? But it's hard doing this off the top of your brain. But all in all, a result that brings positivity for Tottenham. And on the other hand, for Arsenal, it's a result that brings some concern and some worry, actually. So we're going to have to see how the season goes. I'm hearing that, Tottenham got Liverpool next, so we've got to see how that goes. But, and Arsenal, on the other hand, I don't know who they're playing against next. That's my bad. Maybe I should have checked. But nonetheless, I'm going to end it here. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll catch you all in the next episode.
Mini Laje.